Hi everyone, welcome to Saturday Stamping with Sherri. How's that for a bunch of S's? Today we're going to continue on with our cards that I'm going to be featuring in my August class. Today we're going to be doing one that features cocktails. Now, most of you who know me know that I do not drink and I do not do cocktails, but I have always loved the glasses and the little umbrellas and all that kind of things that they serve those drinks in. So for me, this is a mocktail. I'd like to drink, but without the alcohol. And I know not everybody's like that, so I thought we'd go ahead and use this this card today and these sayings. So here's our card base with our front panel, and then on the inside I've decorated it so accordingly. So the front says, today's plan, consume cocktails because adulting is hard. And we do agree with that, don't we? And on the inside, I just said, you make everything better. So to get started with this card, we have a card base of Magenta Madness. And I've cut this one. We're going to open this as a top fold card, which is not something I do real often. So this is 4 1/4 by 11, and I scored it at 5 1/2. And we will just fold this in half. Use our bone folder to get a nice crease so that we have a nice flat card base to work on. Then we will have we actually have two Whisper White layers, one for the front, one for the inside. They both measure 4 by 5 1/4. And on this top one, I have used a embossing folder that is called Texture, let's see, what is this called? Tasteful Texture. And I think you can see what kind of texture this gives this card. It's just a real subtle texture on that, but I like that. And then for the inside layer, we have 4 by 5 1/4, but it's just plain. We're just going to be stamping on that. We also have some designer series paper. These each measure 2 by 5 1/2, and I've used my Trio Banner Punch to banner the ends. Now, when we come to class, we'll have different types of paper. Because I only have limited amounts of my designer series paper, and sometimes I don't have enough to go around. I will make as many of them as we can with this, but I'm not sure we'll have enough for all of them. And then on the inside, I decided to put another little banner in the Magenta Madness color, and again, it's the 2 by 5 1/2 in its core, and we'll be cutting this off and shortening it quite a bit. Back to the front, we have a piece of Daffodil Delight. This measures 1 inch by 5 1/2, and I have embossed this with another folder which is called Dainty Diamonds, and it's just I'm gonna get it in the camera here so you can see it, and I obviously have something on the bottom of this one. Looks like a glue dot. So it just gives it a really pretty texture, and that's for the front layer. And then behind that we'll be putting this piece, and this is actually something that I cut out with one of our ornate frame dies. And what we're going to do is this is just going to go in the middle, and that way, sorry, I'm having a hard time staying in frame today. That way you have your little edge without having to try to fussy cut something out, make it more difficult. So for our ovals, we have one of the Magenta Madness. We have a Whisper White one that's going to be our stamping layer. And then these are what I used on the inside, the Daffodil Delight, and another small Whisper White oval. And of course we have our cocktail saying that I have cut out. Now last week, I'm sure in my video last week, you were all screaming and yelling at me because I couldn't find my chocolate cut out, and it was laying right in front of me and I just did not see it. And that happens when I'm doing videos because I'm not real comfortable with them yet. And so hopefully this one I will be able to keep track of and you won't have to scream at me. And then the envelope, I just decorated the back flap of the envelope. So I think we will get started. We will do our stamping first. And so we are going to be, again, using the black Memento ink. And at the top of our front oval, we're going to do the today's plan, consume. And so I will ink this up. And we are going to stamp this kind of in the middle, but at the top, so we have room for our cocktail cutout. chose not to use the Stamparatus this time, just so I can keep my stamping skills going and keep things straight. The other one now is because adulting is hard. Do you not agree with that? especially in this day and age, and also if you have children at home, it's hard. It's very hard. And this one goes down to the bottom, just about center. And there we go. We've got that. Sorry, my allergies again are still with me, unfortunately. I wish they would go away. But apparently I have lost my sayings for the inside. So hold on one second. Let me go grab my stamp set. Okay, I have the one for the inside layer. And we will ink that up. And this I will stamp in the middle. Okay, there we go. Now I think we'll just go ahead and put these layers together while we're working on them and have that part over with. And we'll just try to center this in our oval as best we can. There's that one. And here's the one for the inside. Okay, that's really pretty much of our stamping is all done. With the exception of, I have to stamp a cocktail. Now, I've already done these, but I had one. Let me grab it. So, the cocktail stamp is just the glass and the umbrella. And what I'm going to do is stamp it down on a scrap of Whisper White. Close up my ink pad. Now we're going to use some of our Stampin' blends to color this in. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start out with doing the little umbrella, and I'm using the dark Bermuda Bay blend. Oh, I'm sorry, it is actually the light Bermuda Bay blend. Bermuda Bay blend. Say that 3 times. And so we'll just very carefully color in. I always use the blunt point when I'm doing a very fine, small image to try to keep myself from going outside of the image. This doesn't take very long at all to color. Our stem of our glass is going to be in Magenta Madness, and this one I believe is the light also. And I didn't wait quite long enough for this ink to dry, but as I say, I've already done one. I'm just going to kind of go over this with you so you see what we're doing with it. With this humidity, I have noticed that my images are taking a little bit longer. The inks are taking a little bit longer to dry. We're not used to any kind of humidity level in Colorado. Okay, so for the drink part, I'm going to use the light Daffodil Delight. And I didn't go to the top of the glass. I just kind of went to the bottom of the little umbrella part. And I'm probably going to pick up some black with this because it's not totally dry. The Memento ink is the ink that you want to use if ever you're coloring with, whether they be blends or any other brand of alcohol marker. You need, you cannot have a total water-based ink because it'll run with the alcohol. Okay, Okay, and then all we have left to do is our orange, and so I am going to actually use Mango Melody, and for the sliced part of the lemon, I'm going to use the light Mango Melody. And for the rind, I'm going to use the dark. And then the last thing, I took my Wink of Stella, and I just went over the drink part just to give it some sparkle, like it's a nice frosty lemonade for me. And then we'll do also a little bit of the orange. Okay, and that's really all there is to it. There is a die that cuts this out, and I have already done that, if I can find where I put it. Oh, here it is. So I've already cut it out, but what we'll do for class is we'll just color these and then cut them out, or I may cut them out beforehand and then you can just color. I got to try and see how hard it is to color this tiny little piece if it's already cut out. Okay, so then the other thing we need to do is we need to put our cocktail down on our magenta oval. Again, I will have these backed with stickies so that they're more like a sticker, and you don't have to worry about putting any kind of glue on the back of these small letters. Now, the one thing about this one is your eye, your dot for your eye, and it's so tiny. And so I had cut out several of these cocktail sayings, and what I did, because I knew I was going to lose the eyes, I took a little piece of washi tape and I put all my little dots on top of that so I'd have them. So all I have to do now is to take my pokey tool, and again, they're sticky on the back. I'll take my pokey tool, I'll pick one of these off, and I got to try and get the sticker paper off the back of it, and that proves sometimes to be a bit of a problem, but if I can get it to where I can just slide it, I can usually get it to come right off, but we'll see how that, there we go. It wasn't too bad today, because they're so tiny. And then I just stick it on my pokey tool, take it over here, and put it right above my eye. And there, that is accomplished. Now, this is going to be popped up. So I think while I'm working on this piece, I will take my dimensionals and we will put them on here to get it popped up. Okay. And let's see, what else do I need to pop up? I am going to put on my cocktail, I'm going to put a little bit of a dimensional on one side, because what's going to happen, this will be glued down, but this will be kind of loose and popped up because we have dimensional on the back here. So I'm just put a little bit of a dimensional right there so that our our cocktail won't be flopping around. And I did have some scissors here. There they are. And I'm just going to cut some of my side pieces. I have mini ones somewhere, but they're not over here. So let's see. So it has to go on this side. And I think I'll put a little bit up here on the drink portion too. Okay, and so then that is done. So we have everything done right here. I actually kept track of my cocktail sayings, so that was a good thing. Okay, next thing we're going to do, we're going to take our yellow piece and we're going to work on it. So as I say, this is actually a framelit, a frame that I cut out. It's in the ornate framelits. And we're just going to take and put our yellow piece over this and kind of center it so that we have the little white detail on both sides, and that it's a lot easier than trying to cut out tiny strip and glue on the top of there. So that I was kind of excited about that. Wow, that's going to work pretty well. So all we do is take this, we try to center it and get just about the same amount of the, rub it down. Okay, so then we take our Whisper White piece that's been embossed, and we're going to first of all lay down our banner. Now this banner is a little bit long for what we need, so what I did is I just went ahead and put it down from the bottom where I wanted it, and then we'll just trim it off here at the top. So once again, we'll get our Stampin' Seal working here. I didn't put any down on the very bottoms of the banner, just to kind of leave it a little bit free-flowing. And I tried to center this as the very best that I could, and I left it up from, probably about a 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch from the bottom. And then we will put this down. And then I will just take my snips and I will trim it off here at the top. So there's our layer. Next thing we will do is we will put our Daffodil Delight layer on. Again, we'll just put some adhesive along the edge. And I'm also going to put some along the end because we're going to actually fold this under rather than having a raw edge on the front. And you can put this wherever you want. I put it probably 1/2 inch or so from the bottom of the bannered in. Tried to get it straight. Rub that down, and then like I say, we're going to just fold this over. Use our bone folder to really crease it down. It's not something I normally do, but I just like the finished edge rather than the raw edge on this card. I will say that I actually cased this card from a website. It's called NOLA Creations. I like a lot of her cards. We seem to kind of have the same style. It's hard for us to do really simple, easy cards. So I do like following her. Okay, so now we are going to put this on our card front. Just putting a little bit of adhesive on here. And I'm almost afraid to say this, but I've been doing extremely well with this Stampin' Seal. Now, watch it, watch it fall apart on me since I had to point that out. I think I finally got the touch, and when you come to an end, you stand it on its end, and then you just kind of twist it, and that way it seems to keep the adhesive right at the end where you need it. Okay, and so then we'll take our card base and we will put it on the front of our card base. We have a nice border around each side. Okay, and then all we really have left to do is to put on our sayings. So we will take the backings off of the dimensionals. We will put this, center this on there and put it down. We will take the backings off of the dimensionals on our little cocktail glass. And this, I kind of put it at an angle, like so. And there's that. Now for the inside, we have our 4 by 5 1/4 layer. And what I did, and you can use either side. I actually used this side on our for our envelope cover. but I use this for the inside. And like I say, when you get yours, when you come to do cards, you can choose whichever design you want to do. And so I just kind of put adhesive on this, but not all the way to the top because I know that I'm cutting it off. Okay. And then I just eyeballed where I wanted this to be, how long I wanted it to be. And I didn't want it to the bottom because I wanted you to be able to have some place to write and to at least sign your name if you do that. And so I just left some area down here at the bottom so that you could do that. And I stuck this to my, there we go. Then I just took my snips and trimmed this off. It wastes a little bit of paper, but it's not that big of a deal. Okay, and then before I stick on my, well actually I'm not popping this up, so we'll put this on. I didn't flick my thing right last time, so. Okay. And then you put this on here like this. Okay. And then this will go on the inside of our card. You hear how sticky this is? That's why I love this adhesive, because it really, I just know that it's going to keep my cards together, and it's quicker and faster than using the liquid glue, and not as messy for some of you. Okay, now I'm going to put some bling on the front. I forgot to bring that over. Let me see if I can find it quickly. No, I don't seem to have it on my table. Of course, my table is a total disaster. But as you can see here on our sample, I put some little, these are actually sequins, but they don't have the holes in the middle, which I like so much better. And so when you come to do cards, we'll definitely have this, these sequins available for you to put on your card. And then for my envelope, all you're going to do is take a piece of designer series paper, and we will glue it on and trim it off. And we've done this several times in classes before. So that's really all there is to that. So I hope you enjoyed this card. Again, I will be doing a blog post. And I did have some comments from some of you that are having a hard time finding my blog post. So my blog post is simplylovestampin.com. If you subscribe to it, you'll get a notification every time I post something on there. And for my YouTube videos, just do a search under my name, Sherri Mini. And I'll make a new sign and put that on here. I am contemplating changing the name of my YouTube channel, but it's a little bit of an involved process, and I have to study to make sure I know how to do it so I don't mess everything up. But I will try to include the links in my emails. Those of you who have yahoo.com or AOL.com, it will not accept an email with a link in it, and it kicks it back to me. So I'll try my best to make sure you're all notified so you don't have to struggle finding this. The links will be on my blog post, however. And again, my blog is simplylovestampin.com. So y'all have a great afternoon. Enjoy your Saturday, and I will be back in a few days with another video. God bless each of you. Bye-bye.